And
Oh, there it goes.
alright, welcome to another episode of Minneapolis by Night. Today we have Chase and Amy, along with a few other characters who aren't actually in the scene right now, are on the Sept of the Windswept Frost when having a discussion when they hear a howl come across the Sept. And we'll start from there.
Okay.
So Chase will look at Amy and go, should we investigate that, you think?
Amy kind of looks around for guardians. Might be a good
The
idea,
only one's up.
but I'm gonna let you take the lead on this, considering I'm not a full member of the Sept yet. But I'll go and back you up.
He'll nod and shift down.
For those that are curious, the howl is an announcement at the edge of the bond that just says, "I am Echo's past glory, Clieth Galliard of the Uktena, and I seek to speak to a guardian."
Okay, so Chase will shift down. If I only had Holly do that challenge before, then we could have had you speak to a guardian. So he'll shift down to Lupus. It'll take him a few minutes, but he shifts down to Lupus and waits for Amy to be ready before he heads off.
Yep, she'll also shift into Lupus, so that way she can keep up with him.
Okay, so they head off, and Echo sees a huge gray wolf, and I have double overlay. Nice.
Okay.
Sees a huge gray wolf compelling out of the woods with I believe, her thoughts is what Amy looks like.
Oh, sorry?
I am a wolf with
Describe
black and silver spots.
Yeah, she looks like a. She doesn't look like a fox. She is a wolf with black fur, and a little bit of silver on it. Definitely on the small side compared to other wolves in Lupus.
What you guys will see is pretty much what the picture looks here. He's a gray with.
So they'll be heading where Echoes.
Yeah. Echoes is a gray and black patched wolf with white markings on him. He's rather sleek and slim, and pretty much what you would think a wolf would look like in all ways, fairly average looking. Though to Guru, the pure breed in him would become evident when you study him. Only pure breed 2, though, for the care. He'll be.
So Eddie here has pure breed.
Yeah, he's clearly not hiding. He's even paced around the area in the snow just to show that he's there, that the markings are clear, everything. He's not hiding his presence. He'll
Okay. So
he'll give the
so
when you see
are you actually on the Sept borders yet, or are you still on the edge of the borders?
I'll be on the edge. I don't broach the territory at all. But when he does see you guys, you will see that he immediately gives a deferral of submission. I mean, he's in wolf form. It's nothing subtle in wolf form. So he immediately just basically, wags the tail, ears down, scoots forward, and submits. For now.
All right. Amy's just going to go ahead and do this, probably as on approach. Not really say anything. She'll just go ahead and do it. And I apologize for this out of character. But, okay. That was Sense Worm. I assume that...
No, clean.
This is not... Yeah.
No, you don't need to apologize.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm back. What did I miss?
He fenced worm on me. There's no worm taint.
Okay.
Yeah, Amy was just doing precautions.
Okay, so is Echoes on the Sept borders yet, or is he still on the edge of the edge of the borders, or is he fully on the Sept?
He's on the bond borders. He didn't.
Does
He
that all
didn't
change
cross at
how
all.
he reacts?
He didn't cross at all. It's clear that this guy. It's clear that
Okay.
the young Client knows protocol. But like
So Chase will
in
approach
case
and
you-
engage.
in case you missed it, when he sees the two of you come close enough, he being in wolf form immediately gives the submission. Ears go down, bill goes down. He slinks forward, submits to you guys. Clearly as an indication that this is not his territory. We lost him.
Yeah, we did. For the sake of making sure there's no
And he's
bit-
back.
Okay.
Yeah.
You guys.
Okay. You back?
He's unsure.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm having bandwidth issues today.
Hey, no
Yeah.
biggie.
It's that Apple TV you're watching.
Tim, can you shoot Ari the link? I'm afraid to open anything else without crashing again.
Yeah,
Since in
I
chat,
got
just
you.
like PM him the link.
Yeah.
Thank you. So Chase will approach Echo, and he'll kind of growl and Inguru. You want on our sept.
Well, yeah. Of course, I want permission in the territory. I have been here for a few days now, and I had news to give to your elders.
What sort of news? I do not need the news itself, but I do not
Litany
have a
violation.
paradox here.
A
Must
potential
verify your
litany
words.
potential litany violation. You know what? I'm actually going to do something. I'm going to make a roll for you. My first impression to show you that I'm trustworthy. It's not I'm not manipulating you guys. I'm being as earnest and honest as possible.
Let's just go ahead and RP that out rather than
RP that out. That's cool.
I'd prefer
like-
that over RP.
Yeah, I said I was in the. You can see he's choosing his words, but it's not that he's trying to pick through how to say things. It's clear he's reconciling the difference between wolf mind and human mind. I was in the city foraging for my way there, and I was witness to a series of events that seen a coordinated, although chaotic attack against a specific target that outed the target as Guru, and then a fight between the target and I can only assume the orchestrator of the attack outed each other as Krynos in full view of the public, daytime during the work crews of all the humans there. I
That's
have
a great roll.
Chase kind of growls.
my gift to the Sept, as is tradition, is I've gathered up all of the Weaver Tech evidence that I could from the surrounding area and have delivered it to the Sept officials.
And Fang's going to approach at that point.
Chase will dip his. Okay, so basically, she followed Amy because what happened was they were at the meeting in the Blue Book, and they heard this howl, and Chase and Amy went out to investigate. So we can just say Fang followed them. Just
Right.
was a bit late showing up. So Chase will dip his head, and he'll walk up and kind of walk next to Echoes, kind of sniffing along his side.
Yeah.
And
To
he'll go all around him and sniff him.
Okay.
I
Yep.
believe that is actually
he's,
roll, I
he's,
believe.
he's fully for Ari who just arrived. When you guys seen him when he was waiting on the borders of the Sept, he hadn't crossed into the territory of the Bond specifically. He's been waiting. When he's seen you guys, Echoes immediately was submissive. There was no challenge in him whatsoever. He had no intent on hiding himself, nothing. He was clearly indicating he was there, and he had no intent on challenging anybody for anything.
Okay. So what does he smell like?
He smells like he spends most of his time out in the. You mean actual smells like, or if he's tainted or anything?
Yeah, that would be an actual actual scent roll, like to pick up a scent.
I don't like the house here, so I'm not checking for taint.
Amy already did.
She already did, Uncle.
Yeah, this isn't a taint check. This is just checking his scent to see if it's familiar or not.
He smells slightly nervous, but that's because 3 against 1 potential. That's just normal. But other than that, he just smells like he's traveled a lot, out in the woods, spent some time in the city. He's got all those scents kind of all mingled around in him. Smells a little bit like a fresh kill.
Okay, so after that, Chase he'll throw back his head and let out a howl to the Sept elders, basically telling them that he's answered the howl from earlier, and he's bringing the newcomer to be cleansed. And then he'll notice Fang, and he'll greet Fang. Say, "Oh, good thing you showed up, Fang. We got a new one." And he'll actually say, "We've got a new wolf." What he'll say specifically.
Oh, you need him to be cleansed?
No. Fang and I have met. We just haven't met in wolf form. Now that I remember that. What form are you in, Fang? What form are you in, Fang?
Fang's in the equivalent of Galabro called Sitsu.
Oh, I've seen you in that form.
Yes.
Echo's ears will perk up at seeing Fang, like recognizing you, and even give a little clearly an indication that he knows who the newish is.
Sweet. But yes, does he need to be cleansed? That's important.
Chase will nod. We will cleanse him before we take him. Yes, he needs to be cleansed before we take him on the Sept.
All right, and Fang will grab a tree branch, dip one side in water, light the other side with a lighter, and hey, look, she has all the stuff she needs to do rite of cleansing.
Yeah. Echo's kind of just sort of he thumps his tail for a second. It's slightly sarcastic, but not in a mean kind of way. And he just says, "I've heard tales of Wendigos set purifying on every adventure coming out, just so that they can keep themselves clean from the influences of the Wyrm. Is there a problem here?"
No, it's not that. It's just a matter of protocol, as it were.
You don't want to get any taint on the bond.
Understood.
Yeah, even though it's only residual, and no kind of accusations are being made towards anyone. They would do it even to me if I came back.
I said I don't mean a problem to me. I mean a problem in the area.
No, it's just okay.
We're right next to a big scar, so things get on you.
Right.
And Fang does the dance, and
Chase will kind of.
There's my role. You shouldn't have much on you. So
I should say, if I had anything, it would be basically contact. But even spending a couple days in the city probably doesn't even have enough taint to be registered anyway. But yeah, I'd be cleansed.
Not really.
Not really, but it doesn't cost anything to do it other than you burn one side of a tree branch.
Rite of cleansing, doesn't that cost one gnosis?
No.
To just do it to a person?
Rituals don't cost anything, as far as I know.
Rite of cleansing is different because it actually is the only one of the few ones that you can cast by yourself and not need 3.
Yeah, some of them do require something to spend.
Give me a moment. it might cost a little bit, but one Gnosis is nothing.
Yeah.
Subnet, help me!
So after
you don't.
after the cleansing,
Yeah.
after the cleansing, sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm noisy because I was looking through my book.
So after the Fang does the cleansing, Chase will kind of he'll sniff echoes one more time and then turn around and start leading him on the bond. And he'll take center point. He'll kind of expectantly look at Amy to take the spot next to him and wait for Fang to catch up. Because basically what he's trying to do is get them to be walking around you, kind of like obviously showing that you're new on the sept and they're escorting you.
Yep.
You're right, it does need a Gnosis, but one fucking Gnosis to cleanse you is nothing.
No. Okay.
It doesn't really matter. I will be getting this. I can just meditate for an hour after this scene, and hey, look, I've got my Gnosis back.
Yeah, so when they get actually on the bond, Chase will lead them towards the warder, but
Okay.
actually he'll send Amy.
As
he'll
he's
have
walking
Amy
with
and
you
Fang
guys,
take him to the warder, because if he goes to the warder, then we'll have to end the scene.
Yeah. I was gonna say I'll tell you. I've waited here simply because I made the howl, and I thought it would be proper for me to wait for more members. But I've met with Heart of Ice and Breaks the Wheel are the two, and they're the ones I gave charge of the footage to.
When you say that, Chase will actually turn around and nod, and then start heading back towards where he'll take you basically on a tour of the sept.
Okay.
Is what they'll do instead of taking you to the warder.
You can see he's
he'll basically show you around the bond.
He's taking it all in: ears, smell, sight. Every now and then you can see him walk over to somewhere, unless you guys stop him. Almost as if he's testing out like ground contouring versus the snow cover and stuff. It was okay.
So,
very nice.
So after on the bond, you'd see another guru training, and she kind of acknowledges, but because the player isn't here, we're not gonna have interact with her. And so afterwards, Chase will Chase will kind of lead you guys on a run through the rest of the sept, basically running through. This is where the dens are. This is where we have meetings and rituals and stuff other than on the bond. And kind of towards the end of it, he'll look at you and go, are you part of a pack in the city, or are you still too new to be part of a pack?
No, to be honest, I haven't met anybody officially here other than the two sept officers and now you. The witnessing events that I seen, I couldn't even tell you the names of the individuals, only that it happened and what transpired. I didn't meet any of them either. I was doing human work just so I can get some money, so I can at least navigate the city better.
Oh, you poor thing, having to do work for money.
It was fine. You get to listen to everyone's stories. I gotta wait.
Chase will.
I'm speaking in wolf speak, by the way.
And the Nuisha understands you because I took a merit for it.
That's cool. That's cool. I was just making sure that was clear.
It's a 1 point friggin' merit to speak. So yeah. Holly said I had to take it as a language, so I took it as a language. So yay.
Oh, if I notice you're speaking Guru tongue but not wolf speak, then I will switch to Guru tongue.
No, it's if you. if I speak Guru, I can speak the Guru wolf tongue. You would think.
No.
That's
Oh.
a different thing.
No, that's a different thing. That beast speech would cover that.
Oh, well then no.
So if I notice you speaking Guru tongue,
Well,
You're right,
Chase
you're
would have been
I'll
speaking
switch
in
to
Guru
tongue.
anyway, so
Yeah.
Yeah, if you switch to Guru tongue,
Chase
I
would
can
have been
speak,
speaking
yeah.
Guru anyways.
Yeah. I would have noticed that, and I would have switched. It sounds weird, but it's a detail my character would have picked up on.
But, all right. No, it's all right. I'll look sort of inquisitive at you as you're speaking wolf tongue, and you'll switch by that point. That works.
Yeah.
Sorry for retcons, everybody.
So,
It's
okay.
cool.
So after he's Echo says that, Chase will he'll sit on his haunches and look at Amy and Fang, kind of asking their opinion, kind of like, I don't know, do you want to roll a perception empathy to see if you guys can pick up what he's saying without actually saying it? Kind of asking your opinion on whether to ask this guy to join the pack or not.
I'll do that as well, because let's face it, I'm watching the shit out of you guys anyway. I don't want to be... It could be that I'm thinking you guys might be trying to, let's initiate him with a good old-fashioned beatdown.
Well,
Chase
Fang's
is a
gonna
bit
look at him and
offended,
she's
so
gonna
you would know
say,
that
yeah, Fang's gonna look at him and she's gonna say, so, what are you good at?
I'm not sure what the target number is, but if it's only 6...
If you're in Lupus, you get the -2 as well.
Yeah, I was going to say,
he's not hiding, you know.
it's just...
Yeah,
It's one of the few Gallard things I get to do, read body language and shit.
Yay. So what are you good at?
That's a vague question.
Well, I didn't pick up your auspice.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I did Howl and Wolf speak. He'll say it back in Guru to you. I'm Echoes the Past. I'm Echoes the Past Glory. Galliard of the Uktana. We've met at the bar.
Yes, I do recall. Now that I know your name, well, I know we've met. But the question beyond your auspice, because every once in a while you have an Arun who can negotiate or a Galliard who can fight. So the question becomes, what are you good at?
For the most part, I'm a storyteller and investigator, finding out things about people, about places, about things. I'm good at morale, raising up the spirits of people around me. I'm good at recalling stories, as well, kind of my job, but I'm good at it. I have a higher than normal affinity with the Manitou. The animal fathers. They seem to see me as one of their own.
Well, an investigator's always a good thing to have, Fang says, looking at Chase.
Amy
Chase
actually
will look
perks
at
up a
Amy
lot.
for her input.
She actually perks up when she heard investigator.
And by the way, since you guys got like 4 successes on your rolls, you would pick up also that Chase is like really relaxed too, because you pick up on his ambient emotions too. He's suspicious, but he doesn't seem like he's ready to kill. So
Fang's got that goddamn grin on her face, and it's always hard to tell what she's really thinking because she's got that goddamn grin on her face.
Amy, none of you know what she is planning.
But
except for maybe Fang.
If you roll perception empathy, I will roll charisma subterfuge. It's just like that.
Yeah.
Okay. 4,
I'm good with that.
6, 7. So my charisma is 3 plus my 3 subterfuge plus 2 for my totem.
Against you.
So
Okay.
yeah, it is really friggin' hard to tell. And actually, I've got a subterfuge affinity. It's It's really friggin' hard to tell the way Fang feels because she's got that goddamn grin on her face.
Although she is probably going to look at Chase and be like, "Oh crap! Did we introduce ourselves? We just kind of rolled up and took him in here, didn't we? And we didn't tell him our names."
Chase will actually let out almost a laugh, like a wolf laugh, and he'll step forward and he'll kind of straighten his back. And I am Chase Carson, claws at the doors of Valhalla, the Get of Fenris, born on 2 legs under the full moon. And then he'll incline his head towards Amy as the next in line to speak.
She'll sit down, look at him, and say, "My name is Amy Reyes. Hamid Black Fury, born under the new moon. Clea."
Hi, we've met before.
Yes, we have. How's your pooch?
Oh, Chewie? Chewie's awesome. Stealing sandwiches last time I saw him.
Echoes looks at sorry, I've forgotten the Black Fury's name.
Amy.
Amy. And he jerks his head slightly. You don't have a deed name yet.
No, not yet.
I happen to be good at that too. All the Scallards are.
Well, let's hope my actions here give me one.
And if not, we can always just call you Laxaname.
That wouldn't be too bad. But either way, Echo, I could probably use your help at some point in the future if you decide to remain here.
I plan on staying in the area for some time.
Excellent, because this issue with the Veil Breach, I am very interested in that, and I am very, very excited to meet the exceptionally intelligent paragons of the Garu Nation.
Just look for the
for
ones
this.
that set up the. Look for the ones that are bragging about the explosion they set off in the middle of the city.
Excellent.
Can you give us a description of what they look like, in Rhinos? There might be a role for that. I don't know. I know it's an intelligence role to remember stuff, but
Yeah, I'm trying to go from from what I've seen as the character, because I tried to not be right in the middle of the scene, sort of on the fringe of the scene. Dirty. I would. There was some large man running around slapping the shit out of people with them too.
was the dirty one? Did he? Was he exceptionally large, even for our kind?
If said character had that merit, it wasn't described in the scene.
Okay.
Was
Well, it
he
would
ever
have been.
Just
referred to
OC, I'll say that.
Was he ever referred to as Mavis?
Unfortunately, I wasn't close enough to hear their names. Like I said, I was working at the time. I only caught what was going on from the explosion onwards.
Well, worst case scenario, Fang, I think what we can do is we can talk to some of the local Weaver spirits around the area. They'll probably know at least the deed names of the people involved.
It's one of the good things the Weaver's good for. The Weaver always listens.
Yeah.
Chase will kind of incline his head at the two. So is our decision made to invite him?
You know, you could probably just talk to the pigeon spirits. It'd be much easier.
Yeah, true enough.
That would be better.
Though I'd avoid the rats. The rats around here are kind of a little...
But to
My
answer
guess is that individual might be friendly with the rats. They did retreat to the sewers. That I did see that. I didn't follow after them because I deemed
I know that. I know
deemed it cover up. I deemed covering up the events a lot more pressing than getting involved in a fight that I didn't know the sides on.
Then I know that asshole if he escaped to the sewers.
And Chase knows that name.
Nope, and gone.
We lost. Yep. Ari will be back in a moment. Chase knows that name, so that's a rage roll.
Oh boy.
But
Oh boy.
I'll let Amy answer because he's good at controlling. Oh shit.
So
Here we go.
Okay.
All right.
I will just
spend a
ask.
willpower. Spend a willpower not to jump everybody.
We'll spend a
Yeah.
willpower to not kill everyone
Just
because
seething and frothing at the fucking mouth.
he is Amy. He's doing the rumble again that he was doing in the bar.
Yeah.
It was just really deep rumbling coming from his chest.
So probably kind of
Okay.
bump her head against his shoulder.
Echoes is not from a
Mhm.
tribe that likes to meet things head on like this. I do back up
Sorry
slightly.
The Weaver decided
Yeah.
to bitch slap me.
Yeah.
And
Update.
then-
Chases seems to be on verge of losing his complete head. He's gone
because
crazy.
I rolled like 5 successes on a rage roll, but I spent a willpower so I don't kill everyone.
Yeah. The rage roll was due to him figuring out who the Veil Breach was from, not from me
Yeah.
actually instigating anything.
Yeah, last I heard
So-
that asshole was sentenced to go to Erebus, and nobody's seen him since.
Chase. The rumbling becomes much more satisfied sounding.
Mm.
And he'll kind of look at Amy and Fang again, just kind of waiting for them to respond to his question.
She would probably. Amy's gonna, as it looks like Chase is calming down. Amy's gonna pipe up and say, "I'd like to see him in action, but he seems good so far."
Chase will incline his head towards her and thanks, and then he'll look at Fang for her opinion.
It's clear that
someone with a
wants to
sharp,
say something, but he's waiting.
yeah, someone with a sharp pair of eyes and a sharp pair of ears, always useful.
And then Chase will look at Echoes.
I'm not sure if there's glasswalkers in the city. I'd imagine so, but I haven't met any.
Most of them are in the other sept.
I understand. I would suggest or recommend someone with at least some standing with one of the seps get in contact with them to try to do the cleanup of any potential cell phone video footage, because I couldn't confiscate cell phones from fleeing people. It was impossible. If
Well,
that's the
there
case.
is-
So see how they can
at
do
that-
it. I mean, I imagine if anyone can do it, track that stuff down.
At that point, I imagine the delirium would have kicked in, and no one would have thought to even pull out their phones.
I wouldn't bank on everyone in a tightly populated area being affected the same way.
Yeah.
There is.
Speaking as someone who doesn't get as much delirium as you guys, you can't depend on the delirium.
There is a glasswalker on this sept, but I will pass the message on to the elders. I personally will not interact with that tainted sept, but they are nominally our allies for now.
I suppose if you want to know what I'm good at, that's one thing that I'm good at. It's the same thing my entire tribe is good at. We will go any place that's needed to go. Some places aren't nearly as glorious as others, I understand, but we'll still go there if it means finding stuff.
So Chase kind of stands up and kind of shakes like his whole, like the whole, the way dogs kind of do the whole body like shake to kind of clean their fur. He does that and starts trotting off back towards the. So what he'll do is he'll stand up and he'll kind of turn and motion with his head for everyone to follow him, and he'll head back to the barn. because we were kind of just at the end of the tour, which means
Yeah.
you'd probably be near the dens
Yeah.
at that point.
Talking
Oh.
while walking.
Fang will go next to Sora, who's out of scene, and will continue training for a bit.
So, yeah, sorry.
I will note that Fang's mostly training with her knife, and she's trying to move more human-y and fight like a human, essentially.
Okay.
But for Echo, who hasn't seen it, her knife appears to be made out of ivory.
Okay.
So, when they get back to the bond, Chase will kind of look at Echoes and Amy and Hoko. So, I did call you guys here to train. How much experience do either of you have with hand-to-hand combat?
Amy actually makes that noise.
Chase will kind of he'll do another rumble in his chest, but this time it sounds more like a chuckle than an actual angry rumble.
I've been trying to get better at it, mostly because Coyote gifted me with this knife, and when you have something like that, you want to learn how to use it.
I don't mean with the knife. I mean with your hands. Do any of you know how to fight with your hands if you get disarmed?
Oh, I know how to do that. She sheaths the knife and steps into a more wrestling-y type stance.
And then I'll look at Echoes for Echoes' answer.
I was my rite of passage was in Lieutenant Wendigo Sept, and the Wendigo require us to understand how to fight by doing a practice of counting coup. I'm no Arun. I can usually hang with a Philodox every now and then. At least the Cliath Philodox. I mean, yeah, you know.
Chase will nod, and he'll shift
I'm not
up in the Hamid.
I'm not an amateur, but you know my physical gifts aren't centered solely on fighting. They're more with word in mind.
All right. So he shifts up to Hamid, and he goes, simply to cover our bases, I suggest training not individually how to fight, but how to fight as a group. If we are to be working together and potentially forming a pack. Because even if we are not all fighters, it is inevitable as our duty as guys warriors to eventually confront.
I remember the Philodoxes of my parents' sept talking about how a totem isn't needed for a pack on temporary purposes, that there's a rite that can bind a group together so that they can learn what you're talking about, pack tactics, so that individuals can train and move together as one, but they don't need spiritual parentage to do so.
Chase nods. Do you have any knowledge of this rite, or where to perhaps learn it?
I believe it looks like he's trying to think it through, but he's doing bad at the manipulation because he's still in wolf form. So it's clear that he's just drawing it out like a Gallard draws shit out.
We're thinking of starting a permanent pack, but because of my non-guru-ness, there are certain totems who won't accept us.
I'm uncertain on how many of the Guru rites will even recognize you as an official part of the rite.
Oh, a lot, actually. And Fang grins.
Yeah. I'm still going to say I'm uncertain.
Let me put it this way. Most of A lot of my kind will pretend to be your kind, and the
Mhm.
Rights won't notice. I don't see the point. I don't see the point in this city, but a lot of my kind in a lot of other cities, and I've done it before. The Rights will react unusually sometimes, but they won't. They won't say you've got a Noisha, run.
No, but they will say you didn't abide by the rules of the pact that was forged during the dawn of time. So guess what? You're all fucked.
That's not happened to me, and it's not happened to the other Noisha I've talked to.
I think it's a moot point at this current time. Your word versus my word, they're going to trust you, I'm sure, but I will still point out you're not Guru. So your Guru expertise I will call into question.
No. But I've done this before.
He backs up a little bit.
You've formed a pack with a bunch of Guru under a spirit.
Yes.
So what right did you use?
I wasn't the head of the pack. Out of character, I don't know either. But I do know the mechanics out of character, and that's what I'm trying. And Fang has 4 friggin' dots in Noisha lore and has done this before in her backstory.
Then you would have come across in the Changing Breed book how the right of totem doesn't work for any other Pharaoh, and that you need the right of the living pack or something like that it's called.
In the Noisha Breed book, it says the right of totem does work.
Oh, okay.
Except that the only totems of cunning will accept it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't go with the second edition stuff. I went with W20 as I was instructed by everybody.
Yeah, this is revised. I'm just saying that I've been going by that, and I've talked to Holly about it, and Holly said it's okay. It's fine. It's one of those weird crossover rule things.
It's one of those things that should be put on the forum that is on the forum so everyone knows, not word of mouth. But anyway, we'll get back into character.
Yeah, no, it's Holly's the ST, so we'll figure it out with her. But yeah, it's not something usual. But it also outright says, even in the Changing Breed book, that using a lot of their gifts and a lot of their merits, Noisha will just run in Guru packs and say, "Oh no, I'm totally a Guru. I'm a Ragapash. Hi."
Chase is staring between the two of you, and when Amy backed up, he kind of moved more in between the two of you in case something starts to break out.
Yeah, though Echo's intent wasn't to be aggressive, this is closer to the new moon than it is. In fact, I think it's gibbous moon tonight. So even though he would not have meant to be aggressive, it would have expressed out a little bit more passionately than being a measured individual.
Yeah, and Fang just seems to roll with it. She doesn't seem to be offended at all.
Well, I was going to say, if you could read him at all, it's clear that he's not being personal about it.
Yeah, Fang does not seem to be offended at all.
Says, yes, I think we should talk to the Right Master. This conversation's pointless, I think.
Chase kind of just looks back and forth between the two of you, and then goes, "Pointless it may be, but at this time the Right Master is occupied, so we can't visit them at the moment anyways."
Yeah, and thus all pack formations would necessarily be on hold, unless I mean, I don't want to dictate sept traditions. I know where I'm from that the Rite Master has to be the one present performing the actions to beseech the spirits, and we don't just run off and do it on our own. I can bust out a few stories of packs dying horribly due to offending spirits that way.
One thing we are worried about is the Sept has not had a single pack in quite a
Well, that's
long
not
time.
good.
And we are simply attempting to rectify the problem.
I mean, I can understand the elders' mission completed. They're in sept roles and such stuff, but not even the guardians.
He shakes his head. The closest we have is a pack of kinfolk that patrols the Sept grounds, although I am challenging to become a guardian soon.
So let me ask a question. This is one that'll strike to the core, and I don't mean to make you uncomfortable. But if you are petitioning to be a guardian, where your duties will be to guard the bond, what do you see the pack's purpose being?
The protection of the Sept is the main part of the pack, but it does not mean that the pack can't be proactive about protecting the Sept.
But it is limited.
My role will be limited. My role will be limited.
An option is, I don't know what kind of stories you know, Echo, but I have heard stories of, or rather rumors of, a few different septs that have used guardians in a much more offensive role.
That would be up to the Wyrmfoe.
Our Wyrmfoe is dead.
Then why aren't you challenging for Wyrmfoe instead of Guardian?
Because you think they would let a Clea become Wyrmfoe.
Well, if you challenge
Who
it,
says you
take
can't
it.
challenge for it? Anyone can challenge for it. It's a matter of whether or not you get it.
You'd get crazy honor for that.
I don't even know. Who would you challenge if the Wyrmfoe is dead?
Master of Challenges.
Okay.
Be the master of challenges.
Or, if you think you've got the pimp walk on, you go and slap the alpha.
Hell no.
Yeah, I wouldn't suggest doing that. As your Ragabash, I suggest not doing that.
Well, unless the alpha deserves it, and then you have a great escape route when you do it.
From what I hear, then you just push the Nuisha in the way and run.
Exactly.
No, but I don't know where you feel you are best in, but if there isn't a Wyrmfoe, I just got here, so that was news to me. Someone's going to need to take that, and either someone needs to challenge the master or mistress of challenges for it. The warder can appoint somebody to serve as the Wyrmfoe. Or somebody can just walk in and say that they're the Wyrmfoe. May not be the best idea to do that last one. I do know
there are stories. I do know stories, hell. I do know certain septs, mainly Vienna or Shadow Lords and Silverfangs for the most part. A lot of times a visiting ranking hero will come to a sept, and while they're staying there will be honorary or appointed Wyrmfoe. I'm not sure if that's the sept's traditions here, that the role is vacant unless needed. Otherwise, visiting dignitaries or so on happen to be Wyrmfoe.
Yes, well, tradition is something that should be kept in mind, obviously, but these times do call for a little bit of innovation. And from what I'm hearing, this sept is very understaffed at the moment, and there's a lot of positions that do need to be filled. And we can't let tradition get in the way of a sept's existence.
Exactly.
I agree, but remember, I will harken back to your comments about the city sept is all about innovating tradition. And if you don't want to be too much like those in the city, you might want to be careful how you innovate a role, especially those of us that aren't Ragabash.
Well, I
Oh,
would
we do have a
probably
lot of
say-
Ragabash around here.
I would say that there is a big difference between innovation and doing something a little different because you absolutely need to, and forgetting your past.
I think end of the day, so long as it's successful and not crazy, it might work out in the end. But just saying you might want to be careful about how you approach it. Well,
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
There's
You're
a
a
time-
Ragabash, so whatever.
There is a time and a place for crazy.
Maybe not.
I see no problem with you running over and challenging for Wormfoe anyway. I mean, I might not be a SEP member, I'm new here, but your rank means nothing so long as you have the capability.
Yeah.
And what better way of learning than on-the-job teaching?
Exactly.
That also allows you to be proactive and not having to stay at the set, because Wormfoe is basically the out-of-set field general.
Yeah, and if you, and heck, given that these are such strange and changing times, having a Cleath Wormfoe who's young and is full of ideas might be a good thing.
I'll just incline his head. He was growling again when you mentioned the city sept, but other than that, he seems to be mulling the idea over.
Well, we might need to be unconventional, as it were, as many of the threats here are kept a lot closer than they would be in other areas.
I will speak to Fact. He'll actually shift back down into Lupus, and he's going to let out a howl. Okay.
Did I talk him into challenging for Wormfoe?
Yes.
Maybe,
And if he
yeah.
does,
Sweet.
It's your fault. If he
That
does,
plays
it's
to my-
Galliard, the Ragabash, and the Noisha talked to Cleath into going for Wormfoe.
That plays my supporter merit so well.
Oh, get it!
Although he might die depending on how the challenge goes.
I don't see why you'd die. If anything, they just beat you till you need some healing.
Yeah.
I mean, and Echoes looks at me saying, I mean, worst comes to worst, they scoff at you, say you're too low a rank, and challenge again next moon. You know, learn by doing, right?
No, not afterwards. I'm actually writing this on the
Rumors?
board. On the rumor board.
Nice. It's perfect. Everyone will hear it.
Mm-hmm.
You watch the chat blow up with people freaking out.
Cool. Especially the ST doesn't know about this yet, because as far as they know, this scene has not. They don't know the scene is going on because they're not online.
Nah, it doesn't matter. There's enough of us in here. It's a scene. It's sanctioned. It's good.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, they just won't be expecting it.
That's more fun.
I can spell name. So
So
while I'm writing this down, I'll let you guys talk.
yeah.
For a minute.
So for tit for tat, we'll say, and he looks at Amy. What are you good at? I mean, we have a Nuisha who keeps saying Ragabash is what Nuisha is good at. What are you good at? Is you're a Ragabash.
Yeah.
How do you two differentiate from each other other than one's a guru, one's not a guru?
Well, I have this sweet kick-ass black fur. Not exactly
There
the
is-
best at looking pretty. She's
I'll
good
tell
at
you-
that.
Well, I can tell you what I'm not good at, and I can guarantee you Amy will be better at these things than I will. I am not good at fighting things face to face. I have to use guile if I want to come out of a fight alive. Because as you can probably feel, I have no rage.
See, that's actually a gift that can say that. Just can't sense that.
Yeah, empathy of hatred. Favorite
I
gift.
I thought also shifters could just feel rage.
No. No.
Oh well, then everyone's been doing that wrong in this game.
Unless they've made a house rule, no. That's a gift.
Okay then. Well, no.
In fact, that's a
Rumor's been
Gallard.
posted.
Big time Gallard.
It's fine. It's fine. I have no rage. I even in my war form, if I'm facing a Guru head to head, I will lose.
He seems to ponder for a second. He says, He's looking for he seems to be looking for the expression. I can't imagine life without it, but I can understand you not being Guru and the warriors of Gaia. I mean, granted, all of us who can change forms are potent in war form, but some are more potent than others. You talking about the rage clearly shows that separation. But on the other side, do you suffer the curse?
Which curse are you speaking of?
You've been around Guru, correct? You've been around Guru in highly populated human cities?
Mm.
You see how the humans react? Even without knowing they're amongst them, they know.
I don't suffer those effects, no.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
one moment, you guys.
You can see he's definitely doing his Gallard, filing information away and figuring stuff out. It's very good to know.
Sorry, girlfriend got home. Needed to make sure I didn't have to immediately get up and do stuff.
No, that's fine.
Okay, so, yeah, I can walk amongst humans a lot easier than you guys can.
Okay.
I can trick my way into a lot of places better than a lot of you can. But I can't face foes head to head. I have to use guile and trickery and I have to sneak away from things. I have to think in a different way than Guru do. Even when I'm running amongst you.
Many kin from my mother's side used to wage warfare with others of their tribe back before the white settlers came. And they used to use these tactics as well. I mentioned counting coup as a way of training. It's what they used to do to show dominance, but it sounds a lot about the way on fighting warfare that may appeal to you, where to show dominance isn't necessarily to overpower the individual, but to at times demonstrate that you could have overpowered them without overpowering them. To play it into a Ragabosh point of view, you could use the counting coup tactic to bluff that you are far more superior than maybe you actually are.
One moment, you guys.
Things
going on here real quick.
So, I think, at a character at this point, I think we can probably put it in the chat as an open social now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're kind of just sitting here
quite.
talking anyways. I don't think anybody's going to jump in, but...
Yeah, might as well use it open social though. That's the best thing to do.
All right. Sorry, I had to. The whole time I was muted, I had to listen to other stuff.
That's okay.
So, gist of it was that you've seen kinfolk. You knew kinfolk who had to fight the way I have to fight.
Yeah, I was saying. I used to get told by my grandparents about the Braves and the war parties from my mother's side of the family back before the white man settled these
Yeah.
lands. They'd waged war on other tribes, and then rather than escalate the body count, they would demonstrate their superiority by doing something called counting coup.
Right.
And to put it into a Ragabosh point of view, I think you could use counting coup as a way to bluff physical superiority in a fight by demonstrating that you could have overpowered rather than actually overpowering. It seems to be maybe a tactic we could train you in. I know
Yeah,
enough of the stories that maybe we can train you in that style of fighting.
I too have heard those legends. The last Guru pack I ran with was almost entirely Uktena. And I too have heard those legends. And when
Yeah.
Can't wait for other people to do stuff.
I
man.
don't feel a need here, at least, to bluff my allies.
No.
So I'm willing to. I know.
but
I agree with what you're saying. I will lie and cheat and steal my enemies this way till Sunday. But I'm trying to tell you, I want to let you know my limitations because I trust you.
I understand. What I'm saying is from what I gather on the talk, is you're forming a pack with Guru.
Mm-hmm.
And werewolves, and this is the key thing to understand, it doesn't matter the tribe, except for maybe children of Gaia, but who knows what they're thinking half the time. They will expect you to be able to fight. And even if that's not your strength, you're still going to be expected to fight with the pack. And now I understand you're saying that your way is more guile.
Yeah,
but
I can.
End of the
don't
day,
get me wrong. I can fight. I just can't fight face to face. And I can fight.
And that's why I'm suggesting maybe we train you in the counting coup style of fighting, so that against our enemies, at least using your guile and your wits could give them pause enough for the rest of the pack to overwhelm them.
Would you like a demonstration of how I fight? And Fang grins broadly.
I don't think there's much need for that right now.
No,
responsibility would dictate the moon is way too close to full. I do not want to risk it.
No, I can show you on something that won't be injured.
So long as it's not me or
of course
them. Or
no,
them.
Of course. Fang will look around and she'll spot a tree.
Mm-hmm.
And she'll draw her knife, and I'm going to step sideways.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm going to actually get to use this fucking fetish, because this fetish is awesome. We're on a frickin' step, so there's like no gauntlet here.
Yeah, no, it's at least like 3.
Then Gnosis roll. Another Gnosis roll. Got to try again to activate this frickin' fetish. That'll do it. And she runs up to that tree and she goes, stabbity, 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 stabbity. And hey, look, the tree suddenly starts developing injuries. And she, nothing too dangerous, but it would be aggravated damage on a human.
Mm-hmm. And
then she steps sideways again. And it'll take her a while.
He clearly looks impressed.
Yeah. And she's the knife, and she says, "That is as close to fighting directly as I do. This is Coyote's fang. Coyote has died many times, and his children make knives out of his teeth, and this was gifted to me by Coyote." and she puts the knife back on her belt.
Okay.
It can strike across the gauntlet.
When with the pack, say you're with one, and you jump into the Umbra by yourself to use that, is that a first strike,
It would be
or
best.
is that something you would do to wait until the battle is started to come in to use it as distraction finishing?
It would be
Or
best used as a first strike, though I could continue to do so throughout the conflict. I could strike down those who attempt to escape through the Umbra with it.
hmm
Assume we're fighting a Bane Spirit, and the Bane Spirit flees, and we're all on the Tellurium. I can strike this Bane Spirit without needing to cross over first.
And when the pack, say, faced with outnumbered odds,
If the pack is faced with outnumbered,
and no, wait, and you step sideways to help even it, and you find out there that they have spiritual support and you're alone, what happens to the rest of the pack?
well, that is dangerous, but I'm better at stepping sideways than most Guru. As you noticed, I did not need a mirror. If
Mhm.
they have spiritual allies and I'm the one who steps sideways, I'm probably in the best position to return and warn the pack. I would make an excellent scout, is what I'm trying to say. I would make an excellent scout, an excellent assassin, and
He nods his wolf
sometimes,
head.
sometimes guile is necessary in a battle.
Oh, understandable. There are stories across many cultures of epic heroes outwitting their opponent before killing them. Hiawatha being one that comes to mind, or Glooskap.
Robin Hood.
He reluctantly nods to that one.
Facing off against an opponent twice his size with a stick on a bridge.
I suppose. But yes, thinking outside the box.
Yeah, you don't have to charge face first on glory or death to be an amazing warrior.
I understand that's how you were brought up and raised, but at the end of the day, sometimes we Guru must charge headfirst into the battle with our pack.
And that is the purpose Gaia has gifted you. That is the legacy of Grandmother Wolf.
And when that time comes with your pack, what then?
I will stand with my pack until the very end. Though I may be dancing in and out of the Umbra while doing so.
He seems satisfied with the answer, at least for now.
Does this satisfy you, Chase?
He'll nod at her. At Fang.
And if, but yes, I will stand. I will not leave my friends to face foes alone, even if it may seem so as I go to scout ahead and first get in the first strike or lead another group of enemies to face our own enemies.
No one can pretend to know what Gaia has given you for a task. We're not you. No one can pretend to know what Luna has tasked our Ragaboshes with, but many times it's a solo effort, even when they are members of packs. Sometimes they wear that grin only because if they didn't, I'm sure they would cry.
Fang looks up at the sky for a moment. She looks at the gibbous moon, and she says, "Do you know the story of Coyote's first trick?"
Possibly not yours.
Oh, Coyote was the first. There were no other creatures like Coyote. And in the beginning, there was none but Coyote, Gaia, and Luna. But Coyote grew lonely, and so he created other creatures like himself, Grandmother Wolf amongst them, to share the bounty of Gaia with. But Luna grew sad because in the process, he had made her sister more beautiful than she. And so Coyote soothed Luna and said, and was mournful about this, his first trick, and realized that he had harmed another without teaching them any lesson. And he tasks all of his children to sing Luna to sleep every night. And Fang actually looks up at the sky and sings a wordless tune upwards to Luna to soothe her to sleep, because I'm following the Nuisha litany, yay.
Mm-hmm.
Chase is kind of looking back to the two of them. He's sitting down now. He's
To
calmed down.
put an emphasis to the point of your song that you're doing, but not to overpower you, Echoes lets out a wolf howl, almost a ghostly harmonics to go along with your wordless tune.
Yeah, I will real quick roll charisma performance, because I have that. Yay, I'm not terrible.
Oh,
Well,
dear
since
God.
we're all in form,
Why are we rolling
might as well howl.
Because, well, Fang explained why Nuisha sing to the moon.
Because it's a song, not just a howl.
Yeah.
Oh boy, we get to see Amy's amazing roll.
If you want
guys.
to chip in, I mean.
Yeah, it's...
Gonna
Well,
attempt
I mean, it would be our first pack howl, even if it's unofficial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, oh my God, I forgot. Oh my God, thank God I can add pure breed to this.
No, you can't.
Oh,
This is
What?
just a song. It's not a social interaction affecting other guru.
No, we're singing to Luna, which I would think would Pure Breed would actually add to.
You think so?
I think
Okay.
Luna would respect your Pure Breed.
Sure.
Yeah.
Mm.
I
Let's
mean,
go
we
with
can
the
just put
rules.
the dice there, and if it doesn't count, it doesn't count. Simple as
Okay.
that. That way, if the ST comes back and says that it works, then we can amend the
Yeah,
success.
it's not likely to have any mechanical significance. Anyways, we're just singing to Luna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna put this in rumors because that would be noticeable.
What are we setting for difficulty?
6.
6. For Amy, it's 7 because she doesn't have any performance.
For me, it's 4.
Yay.
Oh,
you forgot to clear your dice.
Everyone,
I did. I'll do it this way.
just cut out the first rolls. Yeah.
The brother. What's in there? Is your brother here?
Chris.
Actually, I forgot. She has the support merit. We all get to add 1 die.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, actually, it's 1 die to any group effort. So if we were actually all rolling 1 die pool, we get an extra die. It's not that powerful.
Oh,
So, like, let's say we're all participating in a feat of strength to move something, or we're all trying to solve a puzzle at the same time. You'd make
Well-
1 roll, and we get an extra die.
You're
Okay.
using my cane.
okay.
That's how that works. Otherwise, it just gives me a -2 to my difficulty for social rolls. It's only a
Okay.
2-point merit. It's not that powerful.
All right. Well,
7 successes for me.
sweet.
I harmonize you guys all. I'll cover all your guys' flaws. Don't worry. Just
Sweet,
smooth it
sweet,
out.
sweet. And
Even though it's
Yeah,
good because Amy can't sing.
Chase got from 2 to 8 successes, so I think he's fine.
Yeah, Amy can't sing.
yeah, we're not terrible, and Luna hears us. Yay. So there.
Or anybody else. Actually, or anybody else in the Sept.
Yeah.
That's why I put it in rumors, because other people here and they might investigate.
Yeah. It's so. Yeah. We.
Aimless melody of a howl. There's no importance behind it for anyone
Yeah,
intents and purposes.
And Fang looks and says, "The coyote speaks to us with clear purpose. Our purpose is to teach, to be tricksters, and to get the worm to swallow his pride before he swallows the world."
I think you and our Ragawash have a lot of scheming and planning to work off with each other.
Oh,
Really?
I'm sure.
I'm sure you'll complement each other. I expect to see a battle of pranks around the Sept.
So, Amy, did you enjoy that good luck I managed to ask Coyote for?
Amy's lupus head tilts.
Oh, remember yesterday I slapped you on the shoulder and gave you some good luck on a 10-minute delay?
Did you actually explain that to her in character?
Yes!
Okay. Then she'll be like, "Oh, yeah, that was nice, thank you."
You can't do that too often because Coyote has a sense of humor. And I can't tell exactly what it's going to do, but...
Found a penny.
something like that.
It is nice to have.
Something like that. It's really nice when you use it on someone who needs a bit of bad luck to humble them a bit.
I think.
The one challenge I ever had to endure when I was rolling with a Guru pack, it was with those Uktena. My expertise on requesting that we sneak around an enemy rather than face them directly was challenged, and I managed to win by getting the person challenging me to pratfall using that gift. Nobody took him seriously after that.
I think I'm gonna need you if we're gonna handle those veil breachers.
Oh yes, you're probably going to need me. Myself and my cousins are at your command, Amy. And Fang gives a nice big bow.
And that Ragabash makes a smile in lupus form that just does not seem all that settling.
And Fang grins.
I know we don't have a Philodox here, but I feel as though it should be said. I caution you taking Sept punishment or Guru punishment into your own hands, Ragabash.
Oh, no. This is not a punishment. I am not judging them, but
We're
I
teaching
am pointing
them.
out flaws.
We're teaching them.
The punishment of them is entirely up to the Philodoxes, and they will mete that out as they see fit.
Yeah, it's our job is to question, and our job is to teach. Punishment is justice, and that's totally outside of our purview.
Chase is watching the conversation, and you actually see a wolf pup with 3 legs. It's one of its left front paws is a stump, actually comes up and is nudging Chase. Because I have a flaw that the ST forgot about and that I forgot about that should be in scenes.
You have a word.
Yes. And so Chase is kind of distracted for a moment, but he's still responding if you guys speak to him.
I guess Amy will kind of do. Does the wolf look like it's having trouble moving around?
He seems like he's pretty used to it, so he seems like he's had it for a while. So
Okay.
it is a pup, so
It's got to learn.
Yep.
Although, I do think that. Actually, Chase, do you know if there are any Philodoxes on the set? Well, or rather, which ones?
I know there are some, but I do not know if any would be willing to join our pack.
Well, I don't mean for the pack, but I do mean for the. They broke the litany and they are bragging about it.
Yeah,
Are they
that
bragging
would.
about it?
He kind of tilts his head to the side.
I
There is one, a Fiona named McKenna, who I have a meeting with. We could speak to her about it.
I'd be careful about laying the claims that they're bragging about it. I only said to find out who it is, look for those that might be bragging about it. Would be the easiest way.
All right.
Though I can't imagine if a bunch of... I can't imagine who wouldn't be bragging about it. Someone that brash has to have a flappy mouth.
Yeah. People have no respect for subtlety these days.
Well, I mean, if you're going to blow something up like that and you have an intended target, make sure there's no witnesses. That's all I have to say.
Yeah. You know, there's
One way or
all
another.
if you really need to do that much damage, there's all kinds of ways to do it without turning Krynos. I mean, if you hotwire a car and you throw a brick at the gas pedal, that does the job just as well.
We do have someone watching.
From my understanding, from what I've seen, I think the intent was to handle it without turning to Krynos, thus the explosion. It didn't seem to finish the job, though.
Well, I believe we have some training to do, and we have a Rite Master to ask permission for our unusual pact to form.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, guys, I really got to do some things, so I got to pop out of this scene.
Okay.
So Fang's going to say, I'll be glad to train with any of you in both hand-to-hand and knife fighting, and also I'd be perfectly glad to teach you guys the wonderful art of the bar brawl. Well, when you have all those melee weapons right on hand, bottles and chairs and tables, oh my. We just got to find a bar that we're willing to trash.
Come here for a second.
I'm sure we can find a couple.
Chase will nod at him. The pup sat itself down in between his front paws and is watching all of you very inquisitively.
Amy's gonna go over there and she's gonna play with that pup a little bit.
I was going to say,
Probably lick him a few
Echo's
times.
just literally just he's not paying attention to the pup, just talking to you guys, but clearly he knows the pup's there. Flicks a little bit of snow with his tail at him in a very playful manner.
The pup would probably react by kind of being startled. Sorry. And
He
Chase kind of
sorry, go ahead.
looks at Echoes with a strange expression on his wolfy face, but looks at the two and is there anything in particular you would like to train or discuss about while we're here?
It's clear Echoes can't help himself. He clearly now just invites the pup to just play.
Yeah, no, because Amy's already messing with the pup.
So it doesn't have to be. I mean, we're all in wolf form anyway. It's a pack mentality, communal thing that happens. Echoes will say, my howls were met. My purpose was met out for that, and I thank you for answering so promptly. What discourages me, and he went back to speaking in wolf speak, by the way, not guru speak.
Okay.
What concerns me is the clear weakness the Sept is showing. If our enemies, and let's face it, we have them, it's just who we are, even got a whiff on how depleted, I mean, I'm sure I don't even understand the breadth of how badly things are here. You just mentioned we're missing a few positions, that there's no packs. Our enemies even got a whiff of even half of what might be going on, we would be decimated. I'm not even going to sugarcoat that. I'm not giving up. I'm just stating fact.
I understand. We
have
already
no
discovered our Sept Alpha was worm tainted, and we had to Wendigo purge the Sept Alpha. But we've already suffered one assault, and I've been trying to push for this pack to at least get something to protect.
A war pack?
Sept. Not necessarily a war pack, but a pack at least that can protect.
But you're
and
speaking of
be
defense. You are speaking of defense of a Sept during a time of war. The natural inclination is a war pack.
Actually, are we in an official state of wartime?
You just said this Sept was attacked, and you found out your Alpha was traitor. I would say that constitutes war.
There's a difference between an attack on the Sept and being at a wartime footing.
No.
If we are, then the Sept Alpha,
The
Sept Elders have
being-
not.
The Sept being attacked should be a declaration of war. Why wouldn't they have declared that we are at war? Why haven't things been mobilized?
That is a question you will have to bring to the Sept Alpha.
What are the Philodoxes doing? Why isn't the war? This is why the Wyrmfoe is important.
Our Wyrmfoe was killed during the assault.
Indeed.
The rage
How long
spirit.
ago was this? How long ago was this?
3-4 weeks ago.
How many Aruns do
least.
we have here?
Quite a few. But as far as I know, none of them
And
have challenged
none
for it.
stepped up to challenge for it? You'll forgive me, Chases, and I don't mean to throw you into this, but if any of your friends happen to be them, then so be it. But are they cowards? Or are they just self-serving?
I do not know, and it is not my
I would figure they would be
place
your
to speak
training.
of them.
They're your training people. It's just a question. It's legitimate. He seems completely, almost distraught over the very fact that no one stepped up, no one came in to take it. It's like it's not computing in his brain. It's just not adding up.
Chase kind of understands that he seems to be mulling over what you're saying as he's watching Amy and the pup play. It's an issue, and one that I've been trying to fix, but there's only so much I can do.
Sounds like your howl is going to fix it. If not anything, you'll either be Wormfoe, you'll be denied, which will give us purpose to question why, or it'll get everyone's asses on fucking in gear. Either way, there's nothing but good results from your howl.
I suppose it's...
By the way, do we know what attacked the sept those few weeks ago?
a number of worm creatures and dancers and Fomori led by that were invited to the Sept, led on the Sept by our former Alpha.
And he's dead, right?
Wendigo ate his heart.
That would be yes.
Things like that tend to be pretty lethal.
Well, I know things are brash, and I've just met you, but it seems to me as the two of you are the only ones with any direction. If I can't take the word of an Arun, I'll get a Fenris at that, saying that everybody else is aimless. I'd question Fenris himself. I would be interested in speaking about joining up a pack with you all. My only reservation, and don't get me wrong when I say this, is the new Isha clearly doesn't follow our litany. He's not bound by it, meaning we have to put faith and trust in a non-guru to not cause us, even by association, to break the litany.
Well,
we'd have to come up with our own pack-bound litany that everyone would have to adhere to, that adheres to everybody's, I guess, laws.
Mm-hmm. Yes, well, I'm sorry, I don't remember your breed offhand, but I know that the human rules of hospitality.
I'm human.
Oh, I apologize then. Then
There's
we
no
both
reason
know.
to apologize.
Then we know the rules of human etiquette and hospitality to follow another's rules while they are in your house. I assume Fang understands this, but just in case, we may just need to.
You are a Ragabosh. How often do you follow the rules? No. He literally throws at you with his tail. No.
Well,
law-abiding Ragabosh. Next thing you know.
Well, I would probably counter with this. I may be mischievous, but I know that there is a limit to what I should be doing.
Your limit is to always question the ways and why they're applied the way they are. You skirt the law for a very reason. I don't hear tales of Ragaboshes being brought to heel because they decided to defy the Sept's Philodox because the ruling was too hard line. It was the letter of the law. No. You make them soften, or you make them see the light that they weren't supposed to. Namely, yeah, that's why. That's why no one knows what you guys are thinking.
Sorry guys, I'm back. I went AFK for a second, but I'm back.
No problem.
Oh yeah, no. Right now,
I
Amy and Echo are having a discussion on auspice rolls.
Not just
Those-
auspice rolls, but the implication of having someone not bound by the litany in the pack, and the trust that you'd have to put into that individual to not have us violate the litany, on how we can ensure that actually happening.
The Pharaoh have already been spoken to, and they will obey the Guru litany. They will not break our law.
Yeah, I get that, but I'll retort. Fangs is a Ragabosh, and by very essence of the rule, will test those limits. We'll see about breaking them to see if they can get away with it, or whether or not they're actually needed. You understand my concern?
I understand.
I do. So far, while she has, while we both,
I
have-
don't question the allegiance in the least. I question the way. I don't question. My concern is the way about that allegiance gets expressed.
well,
It would be like us showing up to it'd be like calling soldiers in for a peace rally and expecting soldiers not to be soldiers.
Well, I would probably say she is very similar to a Ragabash. She is very similar to me. So I would probably say that she should be treated, at the very least, as I would be treated by either of you. Or by any other member of the Sept when I decide to fulfill my auspice duty.
I
Because
don't
after
remember. I don't remember any parts of the litany adhering to a non-guru though that breaks the litany.
Well, if that happens, then that will be up to our Philodoxes to decide.
Should
It is
be
their
up to
job
the
to...
pack. No, it's up to the pack first. I will be adamant about it's up to the pack first. If we can't handle our own, why would we even be a pack?
Then I would probably say treat her like any other Garu, as long as she is in a Garu pack and a Garu set, until such a time as, since after all, you are the allegiance is not what you are questioning, and they have
No.
agreed to stay here.
This is why in quid pro quo or tit for tat, I'm bringing up the idea that as a pack we form our own, for lack of a better terminology, litany that is more inclusive of the two different aspects. I understand they're a Ragabosh, she's a Ragabosh, but she's also not Guru. But to acknowledge that she's not Guru and then force her to follow our rules also does her a disservice, is what I'm saying. It would be being a proper host would be to accommodate somewhat your guest. That's why I suggest maybe as much as we follow our litany, we help her follow hers. And that being part of the pack's binding concern.
This makes sense to me. I agree.
Okay.
It's going to be more difficult for those of us not Ragabosh, granted. Because it seems as though the entire thing to be is just to laugh at shit. I'm not always going to be capable of that. She just gives a bump into Chase, and like I'm almost definitely certain this one won't laugh at everything.
He just reaches Chase kind of looks at him, No, not anymore. And then he's watching the pup, and he reaches out and kind of bats the pup very gently to get its attention, kind of playing with him as he's sitting there.
So the question is, what other kind of skin changers are in this sept or in this land?
There is a werebear.
Interesting.
Heard tell that there is a rat, but other than that, I do not know. Which reminds me, and he kind of stands up a bit. Well, not stands up, he kind of shifts uncomfortably. There is a skin dancer in the city.
Skin dancer.
Do you not know the term?
Searches for my. You know what? I'm going to make myself a lore roll. See if it comes up.
Yeah, you got Garu. What's your Garu lore?
1, E10 lore 2, occult 3.
Ooh, okay. Maybe
Lords
yeah.
are separate. Lords are
Yeah.
separate.
I'm going to just see whether or not it comes up, because I can't just say it comes up. Yeah, I would think I know. I've heard the term. Even if difficulty 8. I'm like,
Evidently, before I arrived,
only 1?
as far as we know, evidently before I arrived, there was a skinned body on this spawn that nobody decided to investigate. And you see his nostrils, even in wolf form, flare in very obvious anger at that.
He seems annoyed to it too, but he seems searching his memory. There are tales amongst the cultures of both my father and mother's people. My father's people being mostly islanders, and my mother's being from the plains of the Americas. But there's tales of spirits that, and this is keeping in mind our friend who's not Guru. There's spirits that'll use temptation and vice, expressing them through individuals that are themselves temptation and vice, to try to root out the weak amongst the population, to show to the rest of everybody else the folly of excess. Maybe we should seek spirits like that to ally with. If lethargy, apathy, and pure selfishness seems to be infecting the guru of this sept, and I can only imagine probably the city sept as well, that they need to be not just taught a lesson, but made an example of in order to get them going.
In part, this has already somewhat been set in motion, a plan to deal with this. Have you ever heard of my people, of my tribe's method of determining whether a sept is under the correct protection, so to say? And actually, as an Actena, you would.
Yeah, I also know how my
He
tribe
knows a lot
handles.
about that.
Yeah.
There is a testing force that will soon be. They're not here yet.
I'm going
They do not know
to
yet.
suggest to you, though, that your tribe's methodology on certain subjects is missing complete knowledge or completion in how things were done. I'm sure they get regale stories of their time during the formation of the railroads and of the Wild West, so to speak. It's a ridiculous term.
Amy perks up and blinks.
But the amount of septs that were created with older and middle and younger brother created a spiritual net across the entire land. That net now has gotten weak due to many factors, and I'm not going to place blame on anyone's feet, only saying that there has been so much necessary and vital lore lost due to misunderstanding and interference. I would suggest a litmus test to see with who's running what does not necessarily work in a land those customs were originally designed for.
All I can tell you is that I will tell my Jarl, and it is up to my Jarl whether to bring the testing force to fully test the sept.
Mm-hmm.
Amy, who kind of perked up, looks at Chase real quick, and she has asked, "This is what kind of sept again, Chase?"
A Wendigo sept.
Of what,
Okay.
though?
She blanks. And you're having a Get a Fenris force walk in and test it out?
He grins in a it's not a very nice grin.
No.
Yeah, it's not exactly
Such actions also shatter pacts. Remember that.
Be extremely careful with that.
I am simply doing my duty and telling my Jarl. She may decide that it is not right to bring a testing force this time, but I thought I'd warn you.
And if I was to say, go to an elder I know to bring a testing force, what would happen? Of Uktena. We have different methodology. That doesn't normally result in the bloodshed of multiple Guru.
Our testing does not necessarily end in blood, only if you fail.
But history dictates it does.
Also, you have to consider the political ramifications of this.
It could shatter any pack formations.
Not just that, but how are the Wendigo going to respond when a Fenrir squad shows up to test the cairn?
He slaps his tail on the ground, kind of to interrupt everyone's line of thought, just to interrupt the tension. Before you do that, has a call for reinforcements even been made from this sept? Do you know?
Chase shakes his head.
You don't know, or it hasn't been?
I don't
Because
know, but it has been long enough since
that
the
should
assault
be.
that I'm assuming not.
We should be making a call for reinforcements. Who cares if the elders get mad at us or not? If it comes down to the fact that this sept is dying, and let's face it, that seems to be what's going on. Something's infected the place. If that's what's going on, a call for allies from surrounding septs should become. Who cares on the political ramifications? It's a call for aid. It's not a call for testing or purging. When a call for aids comes first the sept comes first, and you reinforce everything, and then you see about what has been going on, and then people are brought to trial and tribunal for any errant activity gone as septrals. Calling in or requesting your Jarl to call in such a thing seems to be jumping the gun. Reinforcements need to be brought in first.
Chase just nods.
You shouldn't.
This whole time he's been talking to you guys, kind of like from the side.
Yep.
By the way, just he's been watching this pup and just kind of for your visualization, it has been. His talk.
I would caution any information passed to your Jarl at such an early stage, considering the ramifications that could potentially happen with the other Fera here. If I'm not correct, on a tribal level, not one of us tribes are ready to be all-inclusive.
Hmm.
And you may well cause a, at worst, skirmish. Sorry, at best, skirmish. At worst, minor war.
Yeah, because I'm gonna be real. Okay, at my old sept, which was a Black Fury sept, if a bunch of dudes showed up to test it, we're pulling out the Labrases.
Yeah, you got to remember, showing up unannounced is a violation of territory and already a litany breach. We don't want to put your Jarl in a position of making that tough call on being an aggressor. I would definitely not want you to be put into that position either, even if the intent is otherwise. We all know, well, maybe we don't, but there are tribes and individuals that will jump at the chance to exploit and spin such a tactic, vilify the Geta Fenris, possibly mobilize against you, mobilize against the Wendigo, even more so than they already have been, potentially even mobilizing against my tribe by association through appearance. It's not exactly like our cousins aren't above that. But I'm sure, though, if those testers are going to be brought in, your Jarl's probably already thought of it anyway.
I do not know. She's only been in the city a few days. As far as I know, she might not even know all the problems the Sept has been having.
She's in the city.
He inclines his head.
Interesting. Well, let's get to a different conversation. This could end unfortunately with unintended consequences. I can always feel it that way. Back to pack purposes. I know it seems like driving things home, and I'm granted most of the people I don't imagine are here. But we need a clear mission for the pack. And you as Wyrmfoe, if you get it, even testing for it gives you gives you.
ST says that ST is changed the rules of the thing. It's a house rule. You have to have rank instead of sept standing. You hold any position on the sept.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, let's face it. Someone comes from outside the sept that's rank 3, decides it doesn't like a being run. He can automatically challenge this and prevents it.
Mm-hmm.
That's lifted right out of the book. Unless it's a time of war. In which case, fuck you. You can't challenge.
Yeah. Sorry, he was making sure it's that, but he didn't just start talking that good shit when he shouldn't.
Wyrmfoes vacated, even in a time of war, can be challenged because no leader's being challenged because nobody's there. It's not like I'm saying walk up and slap the Master Challenge and challenge for Master Challenge. That'd be insane. Would be amusing to watch, but still be insane.
Hmm.
I think we have a lot of soul searching, so to speak, to find out the direction. It seems as though we're all on the same page in a general sense.
Chase will nod.
You didn't actually answer my question there, Amy, on what you bring to the table that differentiates you from the other shifter Ragabosh, other than you have black fur.
It's nice black fur.
By and large, it doesn't matter. We all have nice fur here. It doesn't matter when in a fight. It doesn't matter when performing duties.
Yeah. But I can do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Licks her paw real quick.
Mm-hmm. Echo seems to zone out for just a little bit. His ears twitching. He zones out for a little bit. It's like he's listening to something. Though there's no specific noise or thing to gain anybody's attention in the area. Okay. I think I have some socializing to do to see to the extent of the concerns that are at the sept. I realize I'm not of any consequential rank to make any judgment calls, but still, everything's a learning experience, and even seeing things that aren't being run right is a learning experience.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I think I might go along with you on that one. I only just got here last night, and I'm not going to lie, if Chase here wasn't attempting to go for it, I would probably have just said, I'm the Wyrmfoe. Get it, mad or nah?
Well, no, that actually got fully retconned. SG said retcon that whole thing with Chase challenging.
Oh.
As in, get rid of it? You're not allowed?
The SG said that has been officially retconned.
Yep. How so?
Just it didn't even happen in scene. That's what she said. because she said in character, she said add a character since that it requires rank 3, but in character we would have known. She said retcon it.
Okay. Why does it require rank 3? Must be sept rules then.
Yeah, no, because I have out of character. I have seen rank 2 warders. It's hard as fuck, but it can be done.
But she house ruled it, so.
Yeah, she house ruled it. Yeah. So I think even the mechanics in the back of some of the books even support low rank sept officials because things are hurting. It happens.
Yeah.
Hmm. But I mean, in that case, we're not having a war info for a while.
No,
Because I don't
it'll
think
be
there's
it'll be
a
the
ad
no.
run.
By default, it'll be the pack out sept alpha.
Okay.
Basically, that's what happens by
To be
default.
fair.
Yeah. Or the Scepter rune that have a warder. Warder might be it as well. Usually not. Usually doesn't happen, but it happens. Or a rotating roll.
Yeah, I just thought I'd point that out because that would have changed. But that basically changes quite a bit in the scene.
Yeah, it does. I can still be bigging you up to go challenge for it. That doesn't mean nothing. Getting you all strutting around like a rune should be strutting around. I own this place. Fuck all you all.
The Ragabash will just let him think that. Just
Hey,
Yep.
a good rune has nothing but confidence. That's the most effective rune. See, I'm gonna go to bed. It's late for me.
Okay.
But in character, I'm gonna go and get myself familiarized with the sept grounds. I think what might be, even if I don't form the pack with you, I think what might be a smart idea as well is challenge for protectorate area as your pack territory that's adjacent to the sept in order to gain yourselves more pack standing within the sept, as well as to have expanded protectorate that's specifically under the pack's control that helps protect the area. I've seen it happen in various multi-tribal septs. It allows the packs places to go so they don't have to put up with the political bullshit that happens from some of the other packs or tribes. It's just a recommendation. I don't know if they'll allow it, but it's always something to challenge for.
Chase will nod and he'll basically walk over and start nudging the pup towards getting ready to leave.
And well met, the two of you. I do hope that we'll run together soon.
Chase will turn around, nod to both of you, and give a quick goodbye, and then he takes off with the pup.
All right. Good seeing, guys.
Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching, and stay tuned for more.